Wow, is this a crazy market we are in right now? We got a lot to get into in this video, guys. I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff, and oh my gosh, okay, back to back days, that the futures were massively red, and I mean massively red. And somehow, some of the indexes eke out gains, and people are like losing their mind in this market. Like, what? How are we so bad in the futures market? How do we open so bad, and then the market comes back so strong every day, and everybody's like, how is everybody bearish in this market doing this essentially? And it's just this is wild. Okay, so if you didn't see, once again, yesterday futures were massively negative. And market opens very, very bad, and yet here we are with the Nasdaq green. It's gonna finish green. Okay, I'm taking this like a minute or two before the market closes. Nasdaq's gonna be green. Russell's gonna likely be green. S&P 500 is gonna be close to green, and Dow's gonna hardly be down compared to what it opened at. And back to back trading days where it was like this is gonna be a disaster, and then it wasn't a disaster, and market actually goes up. Okay. That's why it's impossible to predict short-term things going on in the market, because it's just like literally everybody's like, it has to go down, and it doesn't go down again. Oh man, it's flipping everybody's flapjacks. If we pull up my watch list, which my watch list has a bunch of stocks on it, some of these stocks I own, some of these stocks I'm tracking for different reasons. Some of these stocks I'm tracking because I might end up buying them in the next, let's call it a year or so, okay? On my watch list, this is the first one, 13% upward move for Maxar Technologies. Maxar has a really good long-term story, and I've looked in that company, really started looking into it probably in November. I actually really like it for the long-term story there. What I will say about Maxar, right now people are playing it as a trading play because of the whole Russia situation, and their satellite technology is amazing for capturing pictures of what's going on. So a lot of people are actually using that as kind of a trading vehicle right now, rather than like a long-term investment vehicle. But I actually like the long-term investment story of Maxar. That's why I added my watch list a few months ago. Foot Locker had a huge bounce back day here today, 8.5%. That one just likely got way oversold on Friday when it was down it was down over 30% at one point. Sometimes these stocks just way overshoot to the downside, and that looks like it was probably a situation with Foot Locker. Lemonade came back strong today, 7% move there. Tesla, massive day for Tesla. 7% plus upward move for Tesla here today. SoFi 7% as well. Avant Brands a 7% move for Avant Brands, my favorite stock under $1 in the stock market. TDOC, good old Teladoc's up big today, up about 7%. So I didn't look at ARK today, but I'm assuming ARK had a very good day considering TDOC was up big and Tesla was up big, because that's usually their number one and number two biggest positions in the main ARK fund. Square stock up 6%. That's important, okay? The reason that's important is that stock moved huge the day they're about to report earnings. It moved massive the day after they reported earnings. And another huge upward move for Square stock here today at 127. Guys, this is a stock that was $82 a share on Thursday morning. $83 a share you could have picked this stock up for on Thursday morning. I mean, that was what, 96 hours ago or so, or 72 hours ago? Like, that's incredible. Incredible. That is nothing short of you say it, okay? Fubo TV, this one up 5% plus there today, and this is an important one. Beyond Meat, a nice bounce back day in Beyond Meat, about a 5% move there for BYND. I love Beyond Meat for the long term. Go to RX, 4% move there. The Chef, look at the Chef, 4%. Look at all those short sellers making up all that stuff they like to make up, all those lies and just, fabricating whatever, and yet they still can't get the stock down. A 4% plus upward move on a day when, once again, the Dow's down today. S&P 500 is down today. Russell will likely finish out at a little bit green, but not much green. And there's a Chef just 4% up. We'll take that. Dropbox, 3.5% upward move there. Palantir, nice bounce back day for Palantir, 3% there. Uber, Uber stock up 3% today. Shopify, 2.5%. The Hood, 2%. Honest, 1%. Oh man, that stock's going to be a beast over the next 3 years, but it's not today. Today's not its day, but it will be coming for that one. Corsair, man, they've got all their tough comps already in the past. No, I take that back. They have 1 quarter left. 1 quarter left of tough comps. This first Q, after that, then it's all in the past. And for Corsair shareholders, we can't get that quarter behind us fast enough. Let's just put it that way. PayPal, decent move upward here today. Now, as far as kind of some of the laggers here, Voyager Digital, which no one wants to own crypto brokerages, apparently, that stock is poised for a ridiculous run. Sam's going to have a nice bounce back year this year as far as their numbers go throughout the year. Last year was a disaster for them. 2021, 2022 is going to shape up much better for them. Oatly's just an expansion beast. It's ridiculous. Stitch Fix is in no man's land right now. Meta's kind of in no man's land right now. Celsius Holdings, kind of in no man's land right now. SDC, everybody's waiting on those earnings for SDC. We'll see what happens there. Walgreens, kind of in no man's land. Amazon's been in no man's land for like almost 2 years now. It's insane. Well, maybe not 2 years, but for over a year and a half, Amazon's been in no man's land. Just incredible. Funko, no real opinion there. As far as other red ones, Nordstrom was slightly red. That one is looking like a snack. They are reporting earnings this upcoming week, so probably a lot of people are scared because of those earnings, and they don't know what's going to happen there. I'm expecting really strong guide from Nordstrom. Skyworks Solutions down slightly there today. Wynn down slightly. Pfizer down slightly. Purple down about 1.8%. This one looks like a snack right now. Alibaba 105. That's just, it continues to be caught up in the Chinese drama. Planet, always a deal steal. Anything under 5 is a steal deal for this company for a long-term shareholder base. And then Revolve, big downward day for RVLV today, about 5.4%. That was the one that was really outstanding. That's just, took a big downward fall there today. Now, let's talk about the markets in general. So, if you're a trader in this market, right, which a lot of the market is filled up with traders, swing traders, day traders, or just, people that are trying to move money around all these different sectors, all these different industries, all these different companies all the time, right? They're getting in, they're getting out of these positions, or, I'm cutting down my position here, building it there. They're doing that stuff, right? Well, it's a tough market to be a seller. And the reason being is you got the VIX over 30 right now. It's a tough sell to sell into a market. If you're selling into a market where VIX is over 30, that's a very, very high VIX number, which basically shows you volatility in the market. And what you should usually know is if you are in an extremely volatile market, you should be a buyer. Like that's just like common sense. You look at every time throughout the last, 20, 30 years, okay? Look at every single time where VIX spiked high. Every single time that was a buying opportunity. It didn't mean like that was the bottom of the market at that particular time or anything like that. But every single time it was a buy. And so with the VIX being so high, today it was in the 33 range. It's hard not to be a buyer in that sort of market. Or if you're not going to be a buyer, it's tough to sell. Like you're really going to sell when the VIX is over 30? Whew, that's a tough decision there. I can tell you that much. That's just usually not a good move. You're usually selling into a very panicked and fearful market. And what you should always know is you don't want to sell into a very panicked and fearful market. This next chart is extremely telling. All right. So this is AAII, which essentially looks at market sentiment for investors out there, funds, things like that. And we are trading historically. This has been around since 1987, before I was even alive. Okay, 1987. And what I can tell you is we're trading about the most bearish we've ever traded at in the history, or pretty darn close to the worst we've ever traded at in terms of how bearish folks are on this market. This is a week ending 2/23, so the most recent one. Almost 54% of people bearish on the market of the people that are tracked here. Almost 54%. 23% are roughly neutral and 23% are bullish. That's insane. Absolutely insane. So if you look at historical average, this is where we should usually be at, okay? You should usually have about 30% of folks over the next 6 months should be bearish, right? Right now we're at 53, almost 54%. That's incredibly high. You should usually have about 31% that are neutral and about 38% that are bullish versus right now it's 23% that are bullish, right? So we're in this, and by the way, look at the 1 year high. 1 year high was in April 7th of 2021. 1 year bearish high is literally right now, and this is pretty darn close to a multi-year high. Now, keep this in mind. If you have this many people bearish on the market, right, that means people are offsides in a massive, massive way. And if you can continue to get this market to run, what are these folks that are all bearish going to have to do? They're going to have to slowly start flipping over to the bullish side. And I can tell you, it makes me more comfortable when I see massive amounts of bearish sentiment in the market, because that just kind of shows me that people aren't believers in any rallies that this market goes on. And the more the market goes up, the more these folks got to scratch their head and say, gosh, could I be wrong on this? Do I have to come in and invest some money now? And, that's just the sort of market we're in right now, where you just got ultra fear in this market. This doesn't usually happen. We were already trading high. We were already trading high when it comes to the bearish sentiment. And now we've just gone literally off the charts. That's way more people bearish than are bullish or neutral for that matter. That's incredible. You're talking about over a 2-to-1 ratio. So, look at this. The previous week was crazy as well because this basically showed that there were, less than 20% of the people bullish. Like my mind literally can't even comprehend that number. Like my brain's like having a malfunction. Like less than 20% of the investors were bullish for the week ending February 16th. Like literally my brain can't even process this information. Like what? Like that's just crazy to me. Like it should never be that low. Like just flat out. Like even if you're in a massive recession, a depression, I don't care what you're in, it should never be that low. Like that's ridiculous. Under a 20% amount of people that are bullish in the market, that's crazy. Absolutely insanity. Like pure insanity. The equivalent of that would be like this, basically. When we had a 1-year bullish high of 57, I don't even think that's that insane. The equivalent of that would be like if we had, 70 or 80% bullish. That would make me very, very fearful in the market. Like, wow, we have that many people that are bullish on this market. 19%? We're bullish. So the only good news is we've got some more people going bullish on this market. I guess now that things have actually transpired and happened, and maybe the Fed won't raise as rapidly, but that's just crazy, man. Just ridiculous numbers there. Now, if you look at this, JP Morgan now sees Fed hiking interest rates 9 times to combat red-hot inflation. Federal Reserve could raise interest rates at every meeting until March 2023. So a little over a year from now, right? So here we are with every big Wall Street bank out there expecting between 5 to 7 to 9 rate hikes now. At the low end, I'm seeing 5. On the mids, I'm seeing 7. And now we got people saying basically like 9 rate hikes over the next year, essentially, right? So now we're into this market where we're pricing in ultra fear in this market. We're pricing in a ridiculous amount of rate hikes that might never happen, at least at that pace, right? Obviously, oil prices hurt the case for seeing a less of an increase of inflation because oil prices are going up, gasoline's going up, so that's not good. But that could easily start flipping the other way if some of the Russia stuff calms down, which probably isn't calming down for a bit. That's probably going to be an ongoing situation for a little while here. So you're looking at this market, ultra bearish, pricing in a ridiculous amount of rate hikes, expecting the absolute worst when it comes to inflation. And when you start having all this, what happens, okay? What happens when you start getting the market to turn a little bit? Well, people start saying, oh man, maybe I'm a little too bearish. And they start slowly but surely flipping over the bullish side. When these fund managers, individual investors start flipping over the bull side, what ends up happening? They buy in. They put money in the market. And you'd be surprised at how much money is out there in the market. How many people have 10, 20, $30 million maybe sitting on the sideline that then they start turning a little bullish and they start deploying that money slowly but surely into the market. Maybe they had pulled out of the market, right? Fund managers, imagine the outflows of money out of certain stocks, out of certain sectors, and that money slowly starts to rotate over. We know mids and small caps have been trading at ridiculously low historical numbers. We're talking about forward Ps that we haven't seen in a decade, okay? And so we know smalls and mids are whenever this baby really turns, we know smalls and mids are ready to go on an epic run. Like one of the most epic runs we've ever seen when it comes to small and mid caps. We know that. We know there's a lot of deals now in this market when it comes to a lot of the large caps and even a lot of the mega caps now, which is different than a market we were in 2 or 3 months ago. 2 or 3 months ago, the mids and the smalls were already heavily damaged, but the mega caps and a lot of large caps weren't really trading at very attractive valuations. That's a different situation now. You even have a lot of those stocks trading at pretty attractive valuations. So you have so much bad news priced into this market that what happens if you just start to get little glimpses of good news, okay? What if it's not WW3 going on, okay? What if the Fed only raises 4 times over the next year? Oh my gosh, okay? What if the rate of inflation in terms of the rate of increase we've been seeing starts to slow in, let's say, 2 months from now, as I believe it will? What happens when a lot of these things start to play out and the market's already priced in worst case scenario? The market's pricing in crazy amounts of rate hikes. The market's pricing in the inflation rate just continuing to go through the roof for all of eternity. And the world, they're pricing in so much bad news in this market. And when a lot of that starts to not come true, all of a sudden people start to realize, oh man, I'm off sides in this market. I'm making a mistake. I'm on the sideline here. And ultimately, if you're in an inflation environment, regardless if there's 2% inflation, 4% inflation, 6% inflation, 8% inflation, regardless, your money is being eaten alive. And you can't keep your money in cash because that cash is just melting day by day by day like it's an iceberg, right? I heard that expression once. Your cash is like an iceberg that's just getting melted away day by day by day. And so that money, you can keep it on the sideline, or these fund managers could start funneling it back in the market where there's actual opportunities, right? And it's just about who wants to be first. We're clearly seeing some people that want to be first in this market, right? That's why you get 3 straight days where the futures look awful. It looks like the market's going to crash, and all 3 days bounce hard. Okay? Woo! It's a crazy market, guys. We got a lot transpired. I'm going to try to keep you guys up to date. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Get your free stocks from Moo down there in the comment section, including a free TDCF share with a $100 deposit. Much love as always, and have a great day.